Episode 10 of Awaken the Guardian. Hello, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to another episode of Awaken the Guardian. I am your host with, well, I kind of was going to say with the most, but that sounds cheesy. I am your brother in arms, Garrett Bake, and welcome to this episode. Today's topic, we are all liars. We are all liars. If you grew up with any type of religious background, meaning you went to church, odds are you are familiar with the concept of sin. Sin. And you were told that there were two types of sin. Like if it was a preacher, a pastor, a bishop, whoever it was, you're constantly talked to about sin. And these two types of sins are sins of omission and sins of commission. So sins of commission are things that you did do that you shouldn't have done. Like you went to the grocery store when you were a kid, you stole a candy bar. That was a sin of commission. You actually committed the act. And you shouldn't have, because it's a sin to steal. The other types of sins are sins of omission. So things that you didn't do that you should have. Now this one gets a little tricky, right? Because for some people this falls in the gray area. Like, say, you see an old lady that needs help crossing the street. And instead of helping her, you turn around and walk into the gas station. Now, is it necessarily a sin not to help an old lady cross the street? I don't know. It might be or it might not be. But if deep down inside you know that you should have and you didn't, then that would be a sin of omission. It was something that you should have done or you knew you should have done and you didn't. So those are the two types of sins that you were taught growing up. And for those that weren't in church, those are the ones they talk about all the time. Mostly the sins of commission. And then sometimes they talk about the sins of omission, right? So I want to change the wording slightly. I want to change the wording of sins to lies. Because we're not in church and I'm not a preacher. So lies. So lies of commission and lies of omission. So what would a lie of commission be? Like you literally made up a story about somebody, told it, and you pretend that it's real. Like, hey, you know what? I don't like Johnny, so I'm going to make up the story about him. And I'm going to tell everybody. Even though I know it's not true, I'm going to tell everybody it is. Like, that's a lie of commission. You actually overtly committed that lie. You did something. But here's the other one, the lie of omission. The lie of omission. The lie of omission is basically your unwillingness to tell the truth about where you are, what you feel, and what you truly want. And here's the deal with the lie of omission. This lie has literally been killing you. Think about that. Your unwillingness to tell the truth of where you are, what you feel, and what you truly want has literally been killing you. How is this? Well, think about this. Lies of omission are what? They're a loser's game. Like you're never going to win with the lies of omission. Because what did the lies of omission lead to? They lead to suppression and they lead to sedation. And once you're stuck in that game, it's really hard to get out. It's really hard. But here's the sad thing. That is where most of us find ourselves. Right? We find ourselves telling ourselves this. Like I tell myself this. Who I am is not good enough. Like I can't tell you what I'm really feeling or what I'm really thinking because if I do, you're going to reject me. Like you're not going to be able to handle what it is that I'm feeling inside and what it is that I'm thinking. So instead of telling you the truth, I'm just going to lie about it. Like I'm not going to tell you what I'm truly feeling. I'm not going to tell you what I'm truly thinking. And you think this is not me. I would never do this. But I want to give you a very simple example. When's the last time you went to the supermarket, to the store? Sounds simple enough. For some of you it was yesterday, for some of you it was over the weekend. Like it doesn't matter. But at some point you went to the store. And when you were at the store, you went to the checkout counter to pay for your grocery items, right? And as you're in the grocery checkout line, the clerk, the cashier, asks you a question. And it's always the same question. How are you? Or how was your day? Or how are you doing, sir? And how do you always respond? Every single time. I'm good. How are you? Liar! You're lying. Every single time they ask you this, you say this, and it's a lie. They're not doing good, and neither are you. But you're too afraid to admit it. You're too afraid to say, I had a really long day, my boss yelled at me, I'm really tired right now, and I don't want to go home because I don't want to deal with the mess that the kids made. We don't say that. We simply say, I'm good. How are you? So we think that if nobody can see this lie, it doesn't exist, right? Like if I can't see it, I'll close my eyes. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist, right? Like this is a lie though, because this is how so many of us were raised to be. Like you or I were taught and we were educated as young men, as young boys, to lie. So everything you do now as an adult is a pattern of behavior that you were taught while you were a child. So why do we do this? Like, why is lying about how you feel, what you're thinking, who you are, and what you want out of life become so normal? Why is it such a difficult task for men like you and I to come to grips with this simple truth? I want you to consider something. I want you to consider something called the teeter-totter effect. If you had a playground growing up, or a community playground, like you remember the teeter-totter. In fact, I don't even know if they still have them, because I'm sure somebody somewhere said that somebody got hurt, so they can't have them anymore. But if you remember growing up, we were teeter-totters, which was basically a straight board with a handle on a raised thing in the middle, and you would teeter back and forth. Up, down, teeter-totter, teeter-totter. I want you to think about the teeter-totter this way. One side of the teeter-totter, you have the truth, right? The right way to do it, the good way to do it. Then on the other side, what do you think you have? The wrong way, right? The lie, the bad way to do it. So with this way of thinking, you're stuck. I'm stuck. Depending on who you just hung out with, right? There's that unspoken code nobody talks about. And that code is real simple. It's here's the right way to do things, and here's the wrong way. So as kids, what do you remember doing as a child? Like you remember constantly trying to figure out how to do things the right way and how to avoid doing it the wrong way. Because you didn't want to get in trouble. Because you didn't want to get exposed. Because you didn't want to get yelled at. And so you're taught all this stuff and there's this teeter-totter. Okay, is this the right way? Is this the wrong way? Is this the right way? Is this the wrong way? That game hasn't changed as an adult. When you first walked into your job, you were afraid to tell the truth because you didn't know, okay, is this a place where I can tell the truth? I don't know. How do they act? I don't know. I'm just gonna do what everybody else does, hoping that that's the right way, maybe? And so you're stuck on this daily teeter-totter ride. The teeter-totter between right and wrong. Like, it doesn't matter if you're at church, it doesn't matter if you're at school, it doesn't matter if you're at home, it doesn't matter if you're in public. It doesn't matter where you are, you're experiencing this teeter-totter effect about whether you can tell the truth or not. And you're stuck. Like, how you're supposed to behave, how you're not supposed to behave, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Inside of that question, you actually start to suppress who you really are and what you actually want so that you can fit in. So that you can be like everybody else. So, if this is how the game of life has evolved for all of us, how in the hell do we break free? How in the hell do we quit being liars? How in the hell do we get off the teeter-totter of right and wrong? Like, it's not an easy thing. Think about this. If you walked into your office or your workplace or your church or your whatever right now and you told the truth, how would that be accepted? How would it? Like, here's the hardest thing for people to accept. And this was the hardest thing for me to accept too. For the longest time. Where I stand today is simply where I am today. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is what it is. And so by accepting who I am today for exactly what it is, then I'm able to move past these things that have been keeping me attached to this teeter-totter, right? These feelings of shame and blame and guilt, like this self-doubt that I had because, I don't want to do the bad behavior. I don't want to do the things that aren't acceptable. So I'm going to omit, even though I know it's not right. Even though I know I'm not telling the truth. Because I want to be accepted, because I want to stay on this teeter-totter, I'm going to lie. And so we continue on this pattern of this bad behavior. Thinking that somehow, if we continue down this path, eventually, we'll get tired and we'll get off and everything will be okay. The problem is that we've duct taped ourselves, handcuffed ourselves to this teeter-totter and we're not getting off. So we take this truth that we have, who we really are, what we're really feeling, what we really want, and we stuff it into this box. And once we get it in this box, like this big metal box, we slam the lid shut. And we get this big lock, this industrial lock, and we slam it shut, and we put this lock on it. And we take these feelings and these emotions and who we really are and what it is that we really want, and we bury it. We bury it inside of us. In the dark, deep down inside. And pretend like they aren't there, like they don't exist. Like, I've gone to church my whole life. And I'm not here to judge you whether you're a God-fearing man or not, or whether you believe in the voice or not. But I am here to tell you and share with you my experiences. So, God-fearing man. And I would go to church, right? My parents went to church and they raised me to be a God-fearing man and to go to church. And I would see from a young age these men and these families go to church and they'd be dressed up in suits and ties and they'd shake hands and, brother, how are you? I'm good. How are you? Excellent. How are the wife and the kids? Oh, they're doing wonderful. Thank you. How are yours? Excellent. Thank you for asking. And this pattern of conversation would continue, and the handshaking and the smiles and the pats on the back. And I was like, wow, like this is where I want to be. Like everybody here has life figured out. Everything's good here. I really like this. And then as I'd get older, I'd start to see chinks. I'd start to see cracks. I'd see couples that would get divorced, and I wouldn't understand it. And so I'd ask my dad, like, why did they get divorced? Like, I remember going to their house and seeing their smiling faces and seeing the kids running around playing. I don't know, son. Sometimes things just don't work out. So I'd say, okay, that's an acceptable answer, and I'd continue. But then I'd see more problems. And then I'd see more problems. Then I'd find out that somebody was addicted to drugs, or somebody was addicted to alcohol, or someone was addicted to pornography, or somebody cheated on their wife. And I would see this and left with my head scratching like, aren't you the same guy who shows up at church and when asked directly to your face the question, how are you? You give the response, good, how are you? And so this suppressed, sedated response that I learned became what? It became my behavior. It became how I interacted with those that were around me. It became how I interacted with the clerk at the grocery store. It became how I interacted with the people at work. Oh, my life's messed up right now. I'm on the verge of divorce. Cheated on my wife. Started drinking. I'm addicted to pornography. And sometimes when I can't deal with the pain, I use prescription drugs. Oh, but I'm good. Like, everything's good. Really good. Like, yeah. My son had a baseball game. Yeah, like, it was awesome. He went 1 for 3. Like, yeah, totally. Like, it's awesome. How are you? Lies. Suppressing. Sedating. Throwing out bullshit. Hiding from my truth. Literally hating my life, hating where I was at, not knowing where I needed to go or why I needed to go there, but unwilling to face the truth because of that's the way I was raised. Like, I'm questioning everything. I'm questioning my connection with God. I'm questioning everything that my marriage was built on. I'm questioning why I had kids. I'm questioning if I'm actually doing what I want to be doing at work. All these things. But I can't tell you this because it's not safe. So I continue with this lie. See, we've been conditioned since we were children, conditioned that this is how we have to act. Literally from childhood, sedating, suppressing, lying. So we don't become kings of any type of throne or any type of kingdom. Well, I guess we do. We become kings of the wrong type of throne. Like the toilet. Like that's the kings that we become of. The toilet. Instead of the throne that sits in the chamber, in the castle, overseeing the kingdom, we're the king of unreality. The king of the toilet. Just flushing the toilet. Perpetual liars. Like, that's what we've become. And this was me for so long. Hiding all my stuff in the closet. Lying to myself. Cheating on my wife. Like, doing all of this and pretending like my life was okay. Pretending like I had it all figured out. Looking at somebody else that had admitted a wrong, or had admitted a fault, or had admitted that things weren't working, and being like, man, I can't believe them. Like, they got to figure it out, man. Like, can you believe that they did what they just did? Can you believe that he's an alcoholic? Like, I can't believe that, man. Like, that's crazy. I know, right? His life must be totally messed up. So on the outside, like, oh, what's up, bro? Everything's good, man. Fist bump. Boom. Yeah. All right, man. Let's hit it. We got this. Cool. All right. But on the inside, like, literally falling apart. Like the light closing in on me. Falling down this deep, dark pit and not being able to stop it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, there was an episode where I actually had at work, I had a stress attack. And I remember this because we're sitting in the substation, and we had a fire department, like fire station attached to our police station, this particular location. And I remember that I was sitting in the office and I was working on a case, and I couldn't get my heart to slow down. Like, it just kept pumping, and then I started sweating, and then I'm like I started hyperventilating, and I couldn't figure out like why. I mean, I knew why, because I was on the verge of divorce, and all this other stuff was happening in my life that really meant that it was falling apart, and I had no control over it. And I'm sitting here, and this is happening, and my buddy looks at me, "Dude, are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm good." Lie! Like, you can see it. I'm hyperventilating. I'm sweating. I can't keep my heart rate down. And he looks at me for like a minute, and he's like, "Dude, you need to get checked out." I'm like, no, I'm good." Lie! I was not good. And finally he grabs me and pulls me over to the fire station. They sit me down. My heart rate, sitting heart rate, was like 185. I was having a stress attack. I was having a panic attack. They're like, "Was it something you ate?" I was like, no, I'm good. "Is there anything else going on, man? Because like your heart rate shouldn't be this high." No, I'm good. Lie. Continue to lie. And I literally had to lay there, strapped to monitors, sensors across my chest and my head. Like, they were going to take me to the hospital because I couldn't calm down. And I couldn't tell them the truth because I was stuck on this teeter-totter. Lies, truth. Oh, can't tell the truth here. Continue with the lies. Because if my squad finds out that my life is falling apart, I'm going to be kicked out of my position. I'm going to be put on desk duty. I'm going to be ostracized. I'm going to be alienated. And that's going to be the end of my career. Not because I'm a liar, but because I'm telling the truth. So I will admit the truth and stay a liar, even though it might just kill me. Literally kill me. Like, there was a point in my life when I was at the lowest of lows where I finally realized that the only way for me to get what I wanted out of life was to quit lying and tell the truth. Like, my pathway to freedom was only through telling the truth. Like, there was no other way. I couldn't lie my way to success. I couldn't lie my way to a better marriage. I couldn't lie my way to connection with God. I couldn't lie my way to a better relationship with my son. I couldn't lie my way to a better body. And yet here I was, trying my damnedest to do it. Trying my damnedest to figure this out. Killing myself. Literally killing myself. So I want you to consider that in your life, the biggest lie you're telling yourself is this lie of omission. This unwillingness to tell the truth of where you are, what you feel, and what you truly want. For fear of what? For fear of not doing it right. For fear of not doing it the way it's supposed to be done. And so you're literally throwing your life away, killing yourself to satisfy this thing we call right. When in actuality, if you were literally to stop lying and step into the truth, your life would shift. Like, consider that it might be more useful for you. It might be more profitable. It might be more beneficial if you shift the story you have around the purpose of your life. Like, the teeter-totter of right and wrong is not serving you. It has until this point, and it will continue not to serve you. The only thing that's going to serve you from this point forward is telling the truth. The truth. Like, this is the reality of where I'm at. It's not right, it's not wrong. This is just the reality. Like, it's not a question of like, why am I broken? Or why am I a sinner? Or why am I so jacked up? Why? We could just be asking a simple question. Is my life working? Yes or no? Real simple. Is it working for me right now? Yes or no? Like, it's a simple question. It's not an easy question. But it's a simple question, yes or no. Here's the one thing that I know from experience. Until I was willing to ask first myself this question, and two, answer it honestly, there was no way that my life was going to improve. I was going to end up divorced, alone, broke, and probably dead within 5 years, if I continued down the path that I was on. Or I could simply ask the question, is my life working? Yes or no? And then honestly answer it. No, it's not working right now. My life is a shit show. Once you're able to move into this space of telling the truth, something happens. Something happens. You feel liberated. But the reason you feel liberated is because it's like a bomb went off. Like, literally a truth bomb. And those around you don't know what to do. Because they're stuck on the same teeter-totter. And all of a sudden, you've broken free from the chains. You're able to step off the teeter-totter and stand there in truth and say, my life's not working right now. Here's the reality of it. I'm addicted to porn. I'm addicted to alcohol. I cheated on my wife. I use drugs. I smoke weed. Like, whatever it is. This is the truth. See, you'll never attain what you want out of life until you're willing to tell the truth. Like, that's it. So why do so many of us struggle with it? And again, it goes back to how you were raised. Doesn't matter where you were raised. We're all taught to put on this front. It's all good. Everything is A-okay. But I want you to consider how your life would change if you were simply willing to tell the truth. If you were simply willing to be radically honest about what was working and what was not working in your life. What would you be free to do then? And this is what happened in my life. Like, I literally had to become honest about where I'd messed up in my life. Like, what was not working? And at that point in life, nothing was working. Sure, on the outside I looked like I was in shape, but I was eating like shit. Literally pre-diabetic. Sure, I would go to church. I had zero connection with God. Didn't even know where he was. Sure, I would tell everyone that everything was okay with my marriage, with my kids, but it wasn't. Sure, I would tell everyone that my financial situation was good, Truth was, it wasn't. But when I became honest with myself, and I was able to be honest then with those around me about, this is the reality of my life right now. Like once that happened, it's like the fog around me lifted. Like, cool, you're at the bottom of a pit. It is what it is. You can see the light, it's way the hell up there, but at least you can see it now. All right, so how are you going to get out? Like I couldn't ever ask myself, how am I going to get out? Because I didn't even know where I was before. I was so busy lying. I was so busy pretending that everything was good. So consider that your ability to tell the truth about where you are right now in your life will dictate your ability to move forward, to get out of your pit, to get what you want out of life. Literally, you are the only one holding yourself back. No one else. Nothing else. Just you. So, my brothers, my sisters, it's time to get off the damn teeter-totter. Quit playing the game. Quit committing the lies of omission. This unwillingness to tell the truth. It's time. Now, what can help you with this? Well, guess what? I have something for you. It's called the Gap Map. The Gap Map. G-A-P space M-A-P. This Gap Map helps you with your reality. Like where are you at right now in your body? Are you fat? Are you skinny? A little overweight? A lot overweight? High blood pressure? High cholesterol? Where are you at? Where are you at in your relationship with God or higher being? Do you have one? Do you not have one? Do you think you have one? Where are you at in your relationship with your wife and your kids? Is it shitty? Is it okay? Do you want it to be better? Do you just want to have one? Do you just want to have sex because you haven't had sex in 6 months? Where are you at? Where are you at in your relationship or your ability to make and keep money? Like, are you actually able to make money? Or does it always seem to be going out the back door? Or do you have a big pile of money, but you want more? Or you want to work less? Like, where are you at? See, once we get off this teeter-totter, then we can face the truth. And the Gap Map helps us face the truth. The truth of where we are, so we can actually make it to where we want to be. And that's my gift to you. So go to awakentheguardian.com and you can download your free copy of the Gap Map. This Gap Map will help guide you through this process of discovering where it is that you are and what it is that you truly want out of life. All right, my brothers and sisters, that is it for today. Again, go to Awaken the Guardian for more information. As always, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one.